Okay, folks, we're at a different section of the layout. This is one of the most beautiful sections of the layout. It's Maisie Falls. I just want to take a quick shot of this,
A little slow,
a little bit slower, and then I'll go talk to Fred and Howard about Maisie's Falls. And just pan away, and hopefully I won't fall backwards. And let me pause this, and we'll go talk about Maisie's Falls. All right, Fred, Howard, tell us about a little bit about Maisie's Falls, Howard.
Well, Maisie's Falls was that's probably the most focal point on the layout. Actually, it's named after Tommy Gilbert's last wife, Maisie. And of course, I talk about Tommy a lot because he's done so much as far as getting me materials.
Right.
The area is we got the falls was done multi-tiered.
Multi-tiered.
What I did was I ran a Scotch tape down the from the top to the bottom of each tier.
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me all right?
Oh, I'm going to come back. Let's go ahead and pan back and
Or you might want to raise the voice on.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Howard.
Well, the way the falls was done, each tier I would run Scotch tape down, and the dull stuff, not the shiny stuff. And then I take silicone glue and put it over the tape, and it would hold, and then just take a comb, a wide tooth comb, and just like that. And
Wow.
that's how I got the water from I guess what do you call it, striations, or I have
Right.
no idea what it's called.
Now, behind us is Sandy. This is named after your wife,
That's Sandy Springs, yeah.
Sandy Spring. Tell us about this incredible boat. This is the Sandy River boat?
Yeah, originally this was going to be, I was going to continue this town of Sandy Springs down this way, and Sandy suggested, hey, let's put a lake here, and the lake would come out this way here. This is the river coming into the lake the boat will not traverse that.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
And over here, there's an imaginative lake, and here's the riverboat.
Right.
That was her suggestion, so it took me a weekend to build that.
And
I had never built a riverboat before, any kind of boat.
This was scratch built,
Oh yeah.
and you just did it out of your head. You just
Yes.
and understand Sandy missed a tractor pull while you built
She
this
missed the tractor pole.
and got mad.
Got furious.
Oh my God! Oh,
Said, Sandy, I'm
Jesus.
building the boat for you. And she said,
Yes.
I want to go to the tractor pole.
All right, folks, let me pause it. We're going to go to the next spot. Before I left Sandy, this is one of my favorite structures on the layout. Talk a little bit about this one, Howard.
Well, it looks like, you see, there's a station platform. Many years ago, stations would have be like a station hotel,
Right.
where you can actually, buy your tickets. There's a restaurant inside, and it's actually a hotel.
Wow.
And that's a typical. Now, the architecture, again, goes back to the, what I call, is Appalachian Gothic,
Right.
which does not exist.
It's one of my favorite buildings. All right, let me pause it. We'll go to the next section. All right, Howard, this section I'm going to pan over to is named after your dad, Bernard, correct?
That's correct.
And this is a huge roundhouse. You've seen it so this whole area is named after your dad, Bernard. And then above Bernard
That's the town of Carl.
is the town of Carl, named for Bill Carl.
That's correct.
Wow. And Bernard not only takes up the roundhouse, but it takes up the whole yard here, doesn't
The
it?
whole yard is the town of Bernard.
Okay. I'm going to swing over. So we're still in Bernard, including these buildings, Howard, these structures?
Yes.
All right. That's also considered part of
It's all
Bernard.
part of Bernard, yeah.
Wow. Holy smoke. All right, now what town is this, Howard? What area is
This
this?
is called Lower Manchester.
Lower Manchester. Now, any particular reason why Lower Manchester, or just
Well, again, we had a wide aisle here. It just wasn't necessary.
right?
So we decided to give the little HO folks a place to live.
Right.
Now, this is a typical lift out over here, this section, so you get access over here.
Okay. Well, I had no clue.
So,
That's good to know when we get to
section
this.
Here lifts out. There's probably about 15 or 17. I got to fix this over here.
Yeah.
This is a lift out section here.
All right. Let's go to the next area. Let me pause it. All right. We're still in West Manchester, folks.
Not Lower Manchester.
Lower Manchester. I'm sorry. This tool building structure is really cool. This is another one of your designs.
Yeah, that certainly is. That's the fun I have in the hobby, Al, is coming up with the concept and just doing this. Sometimes I will not design it,
Right.
and sometimes I'll do I'll just build. I'll do one elevation at a time, and do one, then add another elevation going this way, another one that way, and so forth.
Right.
And lo and behold, there's a structure.
Yep. It's incredible.
I'm
All
not
right.
saying that's the way to do it. I'm saying it works for me.
Right. All right, folks. Let me pause
And
this.
now down.
Folks, here's the famous Sawzall. In case somebody gets stuck in the layout, we can cut them out. All right, this is the unknown town because we just don't know
Well, here it's on the board.
the name.
Over here is here. Hang on. Can't remember.
That's okay. So many towns.
Foothill.
We were joking about calling it the unknown, the town of the unknown.
This is Wellsboro.
Wellsboro.
The town of Wellsboro.
Now, is there a special why Wellsboro or
I don't remember. There was a reason for it.
right?
There's a town in New Hampshire, I think, but I can't recall. I'll
Well-
probably change it to one of the guys that helped out.
Right. You could call it Pugsburg.
There you go.
All right, folks, this is Upper Manchester, and actually I repaired this because it caved in from a leak through the ceiling, right, Howard?
That's correct.
And
The second time that happened.
It happened
it's the
twice.
second time it happened. And folks, this is an ingenious idea. Howard put a plexiglass up, a see-through plexiglass
Oh, it's sort of
Translucent.
translucent. So in case there's any water or any leakage, he can kind of see through it. So hopefully this will never ever happen again.
I got to change the names, actually.
All right, so this is Belford Gap.
Yeah.
And Belford Gap is in here. And this is the station your son built.
That's correct.
It's spectacular. All right, let me just pan through here and pause it. And this is all Talbot Springs too. Talbot Springs, why Talbot Springs or just it
Well,
sounded?
Sam Talbot did a lot of the wiring and signaling and the electronics.
Oh, okay. So it's actually named after.
That's Sam Talbot.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So Howard, your son is a famous architect now,
Well,
but
he's a very successful architect.
very, very sick. But he did this when how old was he when he did this building?
14 or 15.
14 or 15, and he designed this and just did this.
Right?
This is spectacular,
Yeah, he built it himself.
and he built it completely himself. So he's got your talent. That's amazing. Now this Erie train here, did you scratch build these passenger cars?
Pretty much so, yeah.
These are not typical Erie passenger cars.
There's a couple of bills in there, but most of the longer ones are scratch built.
Uh-huh. So you did those. Now, going to the back of Lost Mine, I'm going to pan over. That's one of the oldest areas of the layout, correct?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
All right, let me pause it.
Howard has numerous mirrors on the layout, and that's really a good use of the mirrors right there. It
Wow.
looks like it goes on forever.
Yeah, that's Talbot. That's Lost Mine.
Now, this wall over here, Al, you should talk about this. That's where I moved the heater
Okay.
and the furnace and the water heater behind there.
Oh,
And
really?
the whole staircase now services I call it the maintenance room.
So the hot water heater and furnace
The
are
furnace is back there.
behind this wall. Wow. Wow. This time I'm going to try and stay still. This is Gilberts Gulch, right?
That's correct.
Let's talk about Gilberts Gulch.
Well, it was named after Tommy Gilbert, of course, and I keep talking about Tommy because when I would build this layout, I'd run out of materials.
Right?
3 o'clock in the afternoon. I give Tommy a call at his hobby shop. This is Tommy Gilbert's hobby shop in Gettysburg, PA. Yeah, you haven't given him a plug.
Yes.
Tommy, you owe me a plug. And lo and behold, what I ran out of would be on my doorstep the next morning.
Wow.
It was that good. I think Tommy invented the term follow-up because he always got stuff I wanted. And but it's so I owed that to Tommy, so I named it Gilberts Gulch.
Right. This is just an incredible scene.
Yeah.
Back here.
And a little story behind that, the Wednesday night group. We came over one Wednesday, and here's Howard in his workshop, and he's got maybe a portion of the concrete viaduct built.
Right?
So we're like, oh, that's pretty amazing. So we come in the next week, Howard's got it in place, painted, weathered, track on it, everything, and we're going like, we're not worthy. We're not
Right.
worthy.
How do you
He
work?
was just, how could he do that? But,
Right.
You know, I mean, most of us at that time, I mean, Howard, this is really his job per se. I mean, and his love, obviously, of the hobby, but he gets to do that all day long, and we have jobs. And
Right,
we,
right.
Yeah,
Well, I had a job too then.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I was still working. I didn't retire.
Yeah,
Right.
but you're
I retired. Well, actually, I was always retired. I retired in '87.
this would take a normal modeler a year to do. You know,
When you get his learn his techniques, as you well know,
right,
it could go a lot quicker.
There's a lot of tricks. The tricks are, number one, to have all your materials present.
right. We've talked about that.
That's why Tommy was so great, because I rarely ran out of stuff, but when I did, Tommy was there to help.
Wow.
When I build something, I'm going to start early in the morning. And I try not to have any distractions.
Right.
Because when you run out of materials, it breaks your energy.
Right.
It really breaks the bed. If you got to take a run to the hardware store or the hobby shop or whatever.
Wow.
So so once I start, I got everything here, and I can finish it pretty easily.
Well,
Now, Howard, I think you told me once before that every night, you kept a sketch pad next to his nightstand.
Oh yeah.
Because you would wake up in the middle of the night and
Right.
an idea would pop into his
Like-
head
like
for its structure, and he would sketch it out and then go back to sleep. And
Right.
the next
Oh,
morning start
behind you,
building it.
Al, is the town of Mac. Remember Frank Mac?
Yeah.
We named the town after
He's
Mac.
on Eastern
directly
Shore.
behind you.
all right. Let me pause this, and I'm gonna go show it. All right. So this is the town of Mac, and this is where the livestock hotel is, right?
Right.
And
we're too far away for you to hear us.
okay, let me just take a pan of this, and I'll go back and get a story about the town of Mac.
The town of Mac came about. First of all, I'm a promulgator of
Okay.
wide aisles, because you can have visitors. You got to have wide
Right, and
aisles.
I learned that. Unfortunately, I'm suffering
Yeah.
that.
Well, we could. I told you we could fix that.
Yeah,
It's up to
yeah.
you. So, but this was 8 feet over here, from here to here, behind you, Al. It was
Okay.
8 feet in the aisle. It was just too much. So I had a music gig. We were playing for a square dance up in over to north, actually west of Frederick, and we finished up around midnight. And I guess I passed through Frederick on the way home on 70. Probably about 1:30 in the morning, maybe 2.
Okay.
And I had this idea of what to do. And as I got closer to Columbia, the idea kept stronger and stronger. I said, son of a bitch, I'm going to do this. So I was still working. I had my business. So I called my general manager. And I said, Roger, I'm gone for 2 weeks. Don't even think of calling me. You run the business. You know how to do it.
Right.
And that was fun. So I did exactly what I talked about. The following day, that night, I did a rough sketch of this area.
Right.
And then I went down and bought all the materials I would need from the hobby shop, the hardware store, and so forth. Set up tables. The next
Wow.
morning, I had a cup of coffee, walked the dog, and started probably about 8:30 in the morning. And I worked for 2 weeks. That included really all the structures. The whole thing was built in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
10 years of work.
But then again, but after I quit aviation, I started an industrial design firm. And we specialize in designing and building sales centers for developers and builders.
Right.
That's
So
that was my company.
Right.
And we had to make deadlines. Deadline is they're called deadlines because if you don't make it, you're dead.
Right. You're dead.
And if you do make it, you're still dead from,
Right.
for exhaustion.
Wow.
So I'm used to that kind of work, so I can do that. Even though I had no deadline to meet, because this is my layout and it's supposed to be fun.
Right.
But then again, doing stuff like that, working, completing it in record time,
Right.
to me is a lot of fun.
You could have been a member of the Beatles because they wrote half their music. They'd wake up in the middle of the night and write it down on a notepad.
Yep.
Well, so when I was coming back, I just knew exactly what I wanted to do with the town of Mac.
Wow.
And so it turned out pretty well.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
Well, thanks for being with us today, Howard and Fred, and
You're welcome.
thanks for watching.
Thank you, Al. Look forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job with these videos.
Yeah, you're doing a great job with your channel.
And
Oh.
thank you very much for featuring me. And you did Bob Hess the other day, or yesterday actually.
Yep.
And he was happy as a pig and shit. I mean,
Oh,
you have no
Jesus.
idea how happy he was.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
See, we talked about before, art has no meaning unless you can share it. Bob,
Right.
That was Bob's lament. He didn't really have anybody to share it with. You
Well,
said the same thing with you.
Yep. We're
You gotta
gonna.
get people over there.
That's why this channel's here. And folks, Fred, tell us one more time about your great channel. You must go and
Just
subscribe.
all you need to do is type in my name, Fred Eisen, Eisen, and you should find me.
Yes.
Like I said, there's a guy in New Hope, Pennsylvania, with the same name, but that's not me. But you'll see, because it's a chassis system, Western Maryland. Kind of maybe starting to backdate a little more to early Western Maryland, late in the game.
Right.
So with a little bit of chassis mixed in. So.
The other thing, Al, before we turn this off, I can't not emphasize how important it is to have a hobby like this where it requires dexterity.
Right.
Now, I'm 80. I'll be 85, but then it's hard getting used to it. I'll show you my shirt, which is how I feel. You can read that.
Let's see. It's weird being the same age as old people. Yeah,
right.
I love it.
Well, get a hobby, and you're not going to feel that old.
That's correct.
And,
I'm the same age as my granddaughter. She's 17, but oh wait a minute, got dyslexia coming in, right?
Wow, good God. Well, folks, thanks for watching.